Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel, The Primordial Law. Volume 3, Xuansheng Dao Sect Twin Rice Sect. Chapter 11 266 Spirit Platform Blazing Star Stone. 11th of Volume 4. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. Spirit Tablet Master said, the path of psychic power cultivation is extremely demanding on talent and resources. The distribution of martial mystic cultivators, innate talents and physiques decreases evenly from low to high. Young celestial emperors are rare in every generation, inheritors are somewhat more common, 9 spring supremes are even more numerous, followed by 8th spring, 7th spring. Psychic power is different. At the level of great spiritual master, there are only top-tier geniuses and mediocre practitioners, with very few in between. That's precisely why there are far fewer psychic power cultivators than martial mystic Dao cultivators. As Li Ling mentioned, great spiritual masters under 60 are exceedingly rare in the Zhu Li clan. In reality, they're just the middle-tier talents. They have a chance to reach holy spiritual master status in their second 60-year cycle, but the odds are incredibly slim. Out of 10, perhaps only one will succeed. The very top-tier psychic power cultivators, like Li Ling's father, likely achieved holy spiritual master status before 60. Such individuals are a once-in-a-century occurrence even among the ancient myriad clans, Li Wei said. Could it be simply because of his family's wealth? Without the Kandli tribe's financial support, old Li would likely have struggled to become a holy spiritual master before 60 and live to 300, Li Wei speculated. Psychic power cultivation differs from the martial mystic Dao. Once one becomes a holy spiritual master, they immediately transcend the lifespan of a mortal, which is typically limited to 2 60-year cycles 120 years. They gain at least 3 centuries of life. Like immortals. Martial mystic Dao immortals, on the other hand, must break through one immortality shackles after another. Li Ling rolled her eyes at Li Wei. Even she had only learned half a year ago that Li Songgu was actually a holy spiritual master. The Spirit Tablet Master said, wealth is also a part of a cultivator's talent. That's why martial mystic cultivators from higher-born families automatically gain an extra layer of talent. Your achievements in just over a year wouldn't have been possible without wealth, would they? Li Wei had to agree, chuckling, my wealth is the result of hard work. The Spirit Tablet Master continued, great spiritual masters who reach the Calamity Fire realm before the age of 30. You should know from the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival that it's easy to find 100 or 2 such individuals across the 28 provinces of Lingxiao realm. These people are already considered to have decent talent. Yet, even if they cultivate for another decade, only a handful will become spiritual masters. Li Ling, tell him why. 17-year-old Li Ling stood tall and graceful, her 1.7-meter frame now fuller. Yet she still went barefoot, revealing long, straight jade legs, because you must undergo the 9 refinements of Calamity Fire to qualify to become a spiritual master. To reach the Calamity Fire realm, you must first break through to Great Spiritual Master and cultivate the spirit light in your spirit realm to perfection. The 9 refinements of Calamity Fire are essentially 9 repetitions of this process. Master Wu, Mist Master or Zhenhai Guanwu, said my psychic power and talisman technique talent are unparalleled among my peers. But even after spending half a year, I've only completed the first refinement. I hope to finish the 9 refinements of Calamity Fire before I turn 25. And I hope to become a spiritual master before I turn 30. Her Spirit Tablet Master said, becoming a spiritual master before 30 is considered a genius on the psychic path. And before 60, you might have a chance to become a holy spiritual master. Li Wei calculated, it took me 100,000 Xuanhuan coins and nearly half a year to cultivate my spiritual realm to perfection. In other words, to become a spiritual master, I'll have to wait at least 3 to 5 years and spend 1 million Xuanhuan coins. Li Ling knew how monstrous Li Wei's psychic power cultivation was. She felt utterly inferior, constantly frustrated by the feeling that no matter how hard she tried, he would always surpass her effortlessly. You've spent most of the past 6 months on martial mystic Dao cultivation, she said, naturally, your psychic power cultivation has been slow. Li Wei thought of the spatial power within the Buddha's relic. If I use spatial power to aid my cultivation, would it speed things up? Spirit Tablet Master replied, I don't think it would be much faster than consuming radiant flame pills or meditating beneath the Fusong divine tree. Unless, of course, you were to take the Buddha's relic directly to the Tanggu Sea. But then you might never be able to return to the Lingxiao realm. That sea is said to stretch for millions of miles, a convergence point of the 3 realms, a truly dangerous place. Until you become a transcendence, I strongly advise against making a one-way trip with no escape route. The treasure I mentioned earlier, which can aid in breaking through to the spiritual master realm, is called the Spirit Platform Blazing Star Stone. This stone was once a sacred relic of the ancient Bhagavata sect, a sect that has long vanished from the pages of history. Over 1,000 years ago, I obtained some fragments of the spirit platform blazing star stone in a secret realm. According to the murals within the secret realm, a complete spirit platform blazing star stone would be as large as a mountain. It was the very foundation upon which the Bhagavata sect ruled this land for 10,000 years. At its peak, the Bhagavata sect's territory was several times larger than the Lingxiao realm's 28 provinces of Lingxiao 1,000 years ago, extending into many areas of the present-day Nether realm of the dead. But as the spirit platform blazing star stones dwindled, the sect's leaders began to restrict their use, eventually banning their acquisition altogether. Soon after, internal conflict erupted due to unequal distribution and mutual suspicion. In that war, the last remaining spirit platform blazing star stone was shattered. Over the next tens of thousands of years, the fragments of the spirit platform blazing star stone were almost completely consumed, becoming nothing more than a legend. Li Ling said, "That's why I've never heard of it." Spirit Tablet Master replied, "Back then, I brought dozens of spirit platform blazing star stone fragments back to the Xuanhuan sect. It's possible some may still be preserved, though the chances are slim. But you could ask Xuanhuan Ling or that old geezer from the Confucian Taoist lineage. Even a single fragment would be enough." Li Wei asked, "But wouldn't I need to undergo the 9 refinements of calamity fire first?" With your exceptional psychic power talent, coupled with the Fusong divine tree and your financial resources, if you temporarily set aside the martial mystic Dao and focus all your efforts on it for 2 years, you should be able to complete the 9 refinements of calamity fire in 2 years. Spirit Tablet Master chuckled, "To break through and become a spiritual master in just 2 or 3 years with such psychic talent. You'll definitely shake the Lingxiao realm again when you reach that level. Your martial mystic Dao may have failed, but your psychic power has risen, and you'll still be among the elite. Then I'll pass on Taoist formations and Taoist spiritual techniques to you. Combined with insect control, you'll undoubtedly become invincible among your peers." Clearly, Spirit Tablet Master desperately wanted Li Wei to focus on psychic power cultivation and inherit his legacy, so his tone was filled with enticement. The 9 refinements of calamity fire would take 2 years, and the spirit platform blazing star stone was elusive. This path wouldn't be easy. Zhenhai Guanwu, holding a flower of Zaihe in her hand, suddenly spoke, "I can refine high-grade spiritual pills, the star spiritual pill. Consuming 1 completes the first refinement of calamity fire. Consuming 9 completes all 9 refinements. Only spiritual masters could refine spiritual pills and spiritual artifacts. That's why every spiritual master was incredibly valuable to major powers, like a money tree. Spiritual pills were graded as low grade, mid grade, high grade, and supreme grade. The Radiant Flame pill was a low-grade spiritual pill, worth around 1,000 Yongquan coins. The 5 C's pill, a mid-grade spiritual pill, is worth around 10,000 Yongquan coins, but it's rarely available. The pill formula and ingredients are monopolized by major powers at the ancient myriad sects level, who control the path to advancement in the 5 C's realm. The star spiritual pill, Zhenhai Guanwu mentioned earlier, is a high-grade spiritual pill, naturally even more expensive. Normally, only a holy spiritual master can refine it. As for the immortality pill, held by the Calamity Crossing Temple, it's priceless, a Sp6 writ pill treasure beyond spiritual pills. Li Wei's face lit up with ecstatic joy. Zaihe and extreme spirit light do can serve as the main ingredients, along with 14 other supporting medicines. Your Yongquan coins should barely suffice, Zhenhai Guanwu said. Li Wei's smile vanished. The Yongquan coins stored in his blood mud space were also needed to purchase Dao Lotus and Dao Fruit for his martial mystic Dao cultivation. Moreover, he might need to buy more spring liquid. Spirit Tablet Master said, "Using a high-grade spiritual pill to cultivate calamity fire is a terrible waste. It's far too extravagant, isn't it? The star spiritual pill is more than enough for a spiritual master's cultivation." Zhenhai Guanwu replied, "Then forget it. Forget it." Li Wei immediately said, "Give me a list. I'll go buy them. The Julie Hidden Sect will cover half the cost anyway. I'll buy the 14 supplementary medicines. It'll be a good chance to get some fresh air." Zhenhai Guanwu's cultivation had advanced greatly, and her confidence had grown significantly. She instructed Li Ling to fill a cosmic pouch with Yongquan coins and said, "Go to the Julie Hidden Sect and get some extreme spirit light dew. Don't take too much. 18 pills will be enough, 18 drops in total. Is 18 drops enough?" Spirit Tablet Master said the star spiritual pill is for spiritual masters. We should make more just in case. If we run out of money, we can sell the dragon bones. Li Wei had 4 dragon bones, 2 given by the Hidden Lord and 2 by Xuanhuan Hongting. Dragon bones were treasures for refining the body. Refining one into the body could make one's physical combat strength comparable to the weakest martial mystic cultivator at the first level of the Dao Seed realm. They could also reshape one's bone structure. Li Wei felt that, at this stage, breaking through to the Dao Seed realm as quickly as possible was far more important than refining dragon bones to cultivate his physical body. While other martial mystic cultivators coveted dragon bones, Li Wei remained indifferent, believing his own bone structure might be superior. Half a year ago, Yin Shi, Yin'er Shi Si, and the others had returned to Li Province with the Hidden Lord. Now that the war in Li Province was over, the young Hidden Ones naturally had to return to Ju Li Insect Valley to cultivate. Since escaping Chu Prefecture City half a year ago, Elder Qin had never shown himself again, fearing his qi would be detected by the old geezers of the Xuanhuan sect, which would invite unnecessary trouble. Old Zhou remained in Chu Prefecture City, but he was as elusive as a dragon. He only told Li Wei that he would appear when Li Wei needed him most. Li Wei didn't believe he would be there to protect him at any moment. He felt deeply insecure. There was nothing he could do. How could Li Wei, a young man, control these ancient hidden ones who had lived for who knew how long? He could only trust that he had this talisman for survival by his side. As the sun set and night fell, Li Wei ascended Taoli Peach and Plum Mountain's fourth heaven to seek an audience with the new clan head of the Xuanhuan sect, Xuanhuan Kangwu. Since the immortal martial edict was issued, Xuanhuan Ling, who had reached the immortal realm, stepped down as clan head. Dao Seed Realm martial mystic cultivators, while able to stabilize their blood qi, slow aging, and fortify their foundations, still remained within the realm of mortals. Their lifespan was limited to a maximum of 260-year cycles, or 120 years. This was the ultimate limit of a mortal's lifespan. During the first 60-year cycle, their bodies were at their absolute peak. They would frantically gather resources, train relentlessly, and strive for advancement. In the second 60-year cycle, all Dao Seed Realm experts who had reached the seventh heaven or higher, and who held hope of breaking through to the immortal realm, would abandon their worldly affairs and dedicate themselves entirely to cultivation. They would either enter seclusion or venture into the nether realm of the dead and various secret realms in search of opportunities. As a result, the most renowned Dao Seed Realm martial mystic cultivators in the world were all figures listed in the Jiazi register. They were under 60 years old and held positions of power within the worldly affairs of the major powers. Xuanhuan Kangwu was the top Dao Seed Realm expert within the Xuanhuan sect's 60-year cycle. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 3, Xuansheng Dao Sect Twin Rice Sect. Chapter 12 267 Xuanhuan Kangwu. 12th of Volume 4. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. 6 months ago, Xuanhuan Kangwu reached the ninth heaven of the Dao Seed Realm, successfully succeeding Xuanhuan Ling as the only person capable of holding up the Xuanhuan clan during the immortal martial edict. At 55 years old, he appeared to be only in his early 30s. The 1,000-character armor he wore had never been removed in the past 5 years. Before becoming clan head, he had spent 30 years in the Secret Realm Division, where he learned that danger lurked everywhere. Aside from his armor and the blade in his hand, no one could be entirely trusted. When he heard that Li Wei had come to visit, Xuanhuan Kangwu immediately set aside his urgent military affairs. Quickly, bring him in. The one who led Li Wei into the council hall was Xuanhuan Kangwu's daughter, Xuanhuan Qingying. In her early 30s, she was already a spiritual master, her psychic power talent unparalleled among the younger generation of the Xuanhuan clan. She looked to be only around 20, appearing incredibly young. In the Primordial Law, the terms, psychic, telekinesis, and mental, all refer to the same type of power. Since this is a cultivation novel, I may use these terms interchangeably, or even introduce new ones later on. I'm leaving this note to prevent any confusion while reading. Additionally, I'll be using various names for other concepts such as martial mystic techniques, secret realms, holy realms, or places which will appear in both Pinyin and English. Xuanhuan Kangwu stood up, smiling. Wei, you look completely recovered. We've all been worried for the past 6 months. Before our Xuanhuan Chengshengling probably refers to the Dao ancestor of the Xuanhuan clan went to Heavenly Cliff Ridge to fight the demon clan, he repeatedly urged me to take care of you. So, what are your plans now? Li Wei bowed. Thank you for your concern, clan head. Wei has fully recovered. I've come today to request an audience with the ancestor. If not for his intervention half a year ago, I might have already turned to dust. At the Hidden Lord's request, the Confucian Dao ancestor had put on quite a show half a year ago. The 6 desires talisman on Li Wei's body was dispelled with a casual wave of the ancestor's hand. For the Zhu Li tribe, a feat that required the combined efforts of the 9 great priests was effortlessly accomplished by the transcendent. Xuanhuan Kangwu's expression turned serious, then he forced a wry smile. As Hong Ting's husband, you are naturally a core member of the Xuanhuan clan. There's no harm in telling you. The ancestor is likely not on Taoli Peach and Plum Mountain right now, but rather on a certain battlefield. What matter brings you here? Is it urgent? Not particularly urgent. I simply wish to request a fragment of the spirit platform Blazing Star Stone. I'm prepared to purchase it. Li Wei didn't hold much hope. After over 1,000 years, even if there had once been dozens of fragments, they were likely long exhausted. Zuoqiu Kangwu looked puzzled, turning to Zuoqiu Qingying. Does the clan treasury have any of this resource? Zuoqiu Qingying pondered. I seem to recall it. It's said to be an extremely precious cultivation treasure for spiritual masters. Go to the clan treasury immediately and search for it. If it's there, retrieve it at once, Zuoqiu Kangwu said. Then, turning to Li Wei, he smiled. You're right to pursue the path of a spiritual master. Rebuild your confidence, and with those 7 emperor-grade strange insects, you'll still become one of the greatest figures in the world. After Zuoqiu Qingying left, Li Wei bowed again to express his gratitude. Zuoqiu Kangwu pulled Li Wei down to sit beside him. Like Hong Ting, just call me 13th uncle. As for me, well, how do I even begin? 13th uncle, please, say what's on your mind, Li Wei urged. Zuoqiu Kangwu dropped his awkward smile and adopted a serious expression. Right now, the 2 most pressing matters for the Zuoqiu clan are undoubtedly the war with the demon clan factions and the strange phenomenon at the underground immortal cave on the border between Chu Prefecture and Fu Prefecture. On the 3 major battlefields in the Southern Territory, Guanshan, Heavenly Cliff Ridge, and Night City, we've been reporting victory after victory. Their complete annihilation is imminent. But the mystery of the underground immortal cave has spread from the depths to the surface. Half a month ago, I went to investigate. On the northern Chu plains, ancient burial mounds and tombstones have erupted from the earth, spreading across 1,000 miles like bamboo shoots growing wildly. I've heard that in just 2 weeks, they've advanced another dozen miles toward Chu Prefecture City. By next year, these ancient burial mounds and tombstones, remnants of a bygone era, are expected to reach the outskirts of Chu Prefecture City and cover the banks of the Bingju's Lake. Li Wei had heard of the incident and found it utterly unbelievable. Half a year ago, the Transcendent War had exposed the entrance to an underground immortal cave at the border between Chu Prefecture and Fu Prefecture. Countless martial mystic cultivators, including immortal realm giants, had rushed to investigate. The anomaly began 4 months ago. It was said that an immortal realm giant from the Southern Territory had triggered a forbidden taboo within the cave, unleashing a catastrophe of epic proportions. Following a massive earthquake, the earth across thousands of miles of Fu Prefecture, where countless deceased had been buried for millions of years, began to sprout tombstones and burial mounds. The phenomenon then spread to Chu Prefecture, causing widespread panic. After the anomaly, immortal realm giants could no longer enter the underground immortal cave. Zuoqiu Kangwu said, this is clearly beyond our ability to resolve. We must wait for the transcendent ones to intervene. What we can do is thoroughly investigate the interior of the underground immortal cave to reduce the risks for them. The greatest dangers within the underground immortal cave are the dead spirits and the swarms of fierce insects. Currently, commander-grade strange insects and insect tamers are severely depleted and desperately needed. Li Wei asked, 13th uncle, do you want me to join the expedition to the underground immortal cave? Zuoqiu Kangwu shook his head, smiling, I wouldn't dare put you in such danger. If anything were to happen, Hong Ting would never let me live it down. I was thinking of borrowing insects. Li Wei fell silent. In this world, borrowing was never as simple as it sounded. Zuoqiu Kangwu didn't press Li Wei, allowing him time to consider. Zuoqiu Qingying returned and transmitted a message to Zuoqiu Kangwu using mental power. Zuoqiu Kangwu frowned, his voice turning cold. Did you tell Elder Qi that this was my decision? Zuoqiu Qingying glanced at Li Wei and stopped using mental power. Elder Qi said that everyone must follow the Zuoqiu clan's rules. Without rules, anyone could embezzle family wealth, so he must guard the treasury's gates tightly. There's only one fragment of the spirit platform Blazing Star Stone left. It might have great value in the future. If you want to buy it, it'll cost at least 2 million Yongquan coins. Zuoqiu Kangwu was startled. Why doesn't he just rob me? I've cultivated for decades, fought countless battles, and explored countless secret realms. Even if I sold everything I own, it wouldn't be enough to buy that tiny, worthless stone. Wei, leave this to your 13th uncle. I'll go talk to him personally tomorrow. Then thank you, 13th uncle. Wei will take his leave now. Li Wei rose and left. Zuoqiu Kangwu, still seated in his chair, suddenly became deeply contemplative. He muttered to himself, was I too hasty? But it's been half a year already. Zuoqiu Qingying asked, he didn't agree. Zuoqiu Kangwu nodded. After all, they're 7 Lord Marquis Emperor grade strange insects. If I were in his place, I wouldn't let them go easily either. Zuoqiu Qingdiang snorted coldly. He clearly wants to become a spiritual master, but 6 months ago, he was only a great spiritual master in the earth-fire realm. It's obvious he's destined to fail at reaching the spiritual master level. The second path is also a dead end. For the past 6 months, the entire Zuoqiu clan has been struggling, either fighting on the demon clan battlefield or risking their lives exploring underground immortal caves. Yet he sits on Tally Peach and Plum Mountain, enjoying a life of quiet contentment as if it's his due. I think he's truly become useless. 7 Lord Marquis Emperor grade strange insects following him is like throwing pearls before swine. Father, you must help me seize them. With those 7 Lord Marquis Emperor grade strange insects, your daughter will one day stand equal to the transcendent. Zuoqiu Kangwu pondered for a moment. He's also the divine hidden one of the Zhu hidden sect. We can't rush this. Here's what we'll do, you'll befriend him. Make sure everyone knows that you've been by his side, helping and caring for him during his lowest point. That way, when he commits suicide again and hands over the 7 strange insects to you, it will seem perfectly reasonable. Zuoqiu Ling, Zuoqiu Hongting, and even the Zhu tribe won't be able to find fault with it. How many fragments of the spirit platform blazing starstone are left? Zuoqiu Qingdiang replied, in truth, the spirit platform blazing starstone was used up 1,000 years ago. We deliberately set an impossible price for him to pay. Now, we can slowly manipulate him. Li Wei slowly descended Tally Peach and Plum Mountain from the 4th heaven, preparing to meet Yin. When he reached the 2nd heaven, 7 phoenix flew back and landed on his shoulder. They shifted from their invisible state to the size of a speck of dust, then grew to 9 inches long. This was their innate Dao technique. By shrinking their body and entering stealth mode, they became nearly undetectable to martial mystic cultivators below the immortal realm, as long as they didn't get too close. 7 Phoenix recounted the conversation between Zuoqiu Kangwu and Zuoqiu Qingdiang to Li Wei. The little creature was furious, its eyes bulging and its beak chattering rapidly as it spoke. Li Wei stopped and gazed at the boundless night sky, sighing deeply. 7 Lord Marquis Emperor grade strange insects. Their allure is indeed too great. Even the clan head of the Zuoqiu clan has been tempted to evil. It seems Tally Peach and Plum Mountain is no longer a safe place for me. In North City, on the wide Li River, a 3-story pleasure boat adorned with bone lamps drifted silently south. Inside, Li Wei and Yin sat in a cabin on the 2nd deck, protected by a formation art. Yin was short and lean, appearing to be in his 30s or 40s. He managed the Zhu hidden sect's worldly affairs and was currently stationed in Chu Prefecture City. This was their 3rd meeting in the past 6 months. It was July, and the weather was sweltering. The riverbanks buzzed with activity, a constant stream of carriages and pedestrians. Yin ever astute at reading people, drank alone and chuckled. What's wrong? You seem a bit down. Nothing. Give me a drink too. Li Wei gazed out the window and sighed. Yin was slightly surprised. This was the first time Li Wei had ever asked for alcohol, having previously avoided it entirely. Li Wei accepted the glass Hidden Two offered and asked, Second brother, what level of cultivation are you at? Me. My talent is mediocre. I'm at the 2nd heaven, 2nd level, of the Dao Seed realm. Immortal realm is out of the reach for me, so I'm in charge of worldly affairs. Hidden Two said with a laugh. Li Wei countered, even Zuoqiu Kangwu, a top figure in the Dao Seed realm, is still managing worldly affairs. He has no choice. The Zuoqiu clan's worldly affairs require a top expert to support them. Face and Hidden Foundation are different things, Hidden Two replied. Li Wei took another drink, his expression hardening slightly. How's the investigation into Qi Xiao's matter going? Yinwu is handling it. We're making progress. Suddenly, the sound of water breaking and someone boarding the deck reached them. Hidden Two chuckled. Speak of the devil. He's here. You can talk to him yourself. Hidden Two had chosen to meet on the river precisely because the water could wash away any trace of their meeting. Yinwu's identity was too sensitive to risk exposure. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 3. Xuansheng Dao Sect Twin Rice Sect. Chapter 13 268 Yinwu. 13th of Volume 4. Translator. Shadow Knight AK. Editor. Shadow Knight AK. The dark red wooden door of the cabin creaked open. As it swung inward, formation glyphs materialized within the space, causing the surrounding air to solidify. Yinwu's tall, imposing figure appeared in the doorway. He looked to be in his early 30s, with slightly curled long hair and rough, textured skin. Simply standing there, he exuded a heroic aura that seemed to reach the heavens. Ninth brother, we finally meet as members of the hidden sect. I've been waiting for this day for a long time, Li Wei said, looking at Shi Zhoujai as he entered. Shi Zhoujai had been the first true human Li Wei had encountered upon arriving in this world. Back then, witnessing him exhale clouds and stride dozens of meters with each step had felt like witnessing a god. Now, meeting again in this manner, Li Wei felt a surge of pride. We are no mere mortals. Once, he had seen Shi Zhoujai as a god. Today, I too am a god. Li Wei had long suspected that Shi Zhoujai was either a member of the hidden sect or connected to them. First, a year ago, Li Wei and Li Qing had just infiltrated the Zhuli hidden sect when the sect received news of their presence. Yin or Shi Si later revealed this to Li Wei. Second, after being captured by Shi Zhoujai and Shi Shi, Li Wei had inexplicably escaped from the ship. What truly convinced Li Wei that Shi Zhoujai was suspicious was the meeting between the Hidden Lord and the eldest master of the Earthwolf King's army in the Immortal Realm space of Burial Immortal Town. During a conversation, the Hidden Lord had revealed his plan to use the Immortal Star to lure their enemies to the Kandli tribe's ancestral mountain, where they could be annihilated. This would sacrifice the Kandli tribe to secure the Zhuli clan's peace. For the Hidden Lord to have even considered such a plan, Shi Zhoujai must have been his subordinate. Later, obtaining the Hidden One's registry confirmed this. Greetings, Divine Hidden One. Shi Zhoujai clasped his hands in a respectful bow and sat beside Hidden Two. He sighed in wonder. Fate is truly miraculous. Just over a year ago, we met on the mountain in Burial Immortal Town. You and your companion were as destitute as two wolf cubs. Who could have imagined that in such a short time, we would be sitting here tonight, together, admiring the night scenery along the riverbanks. And you have become our leader. At the time, under orders from the Heavenly King, I led a wolf army composed of cultivators of lower cultivation levels, with no prominent figures among them, disguised as Buddha's salvation bandits. Our mission was to raid Li Province, seize the otherworldly coffin, and provoke conflict between the Zhu Li clan and Coffin Mountain. I first met with the Hidden Lord to discuss countermeasures. That's why I separated from the army and arrived at Burial Immortal Town a day later. Being a day late actually led to this unexpected fate. Li Wei smiled. Looking back now, our escape from death was all thanks to your deliberate leniency. Shi Zhoujai sighed. After 15 years of infiltrating the Earthwolf King's army, I had little control over my actions. Any slip-up could have led to a fate worse than death. Sometimes, compromise and sacrifice are necessary. Publicly, it appeared that the Earthwolf King's army, disguised as Buddha's salvation bandits, was responsible for the attack, and Long Ting weighed the consequences for Kang Li. In reality, the Sui sect had two other experts lying in ambush, ready to kill Li Songolin and Kang Li together in Burial Immortal Town, escalating the conflict to the brink of war. Your escape to Yaoguan for help, along with Zhao Zhizhuo, was only possible because the hidden sect elders secretly aided you. The hidden sect couldn't reveal themselves publicly at that time. Li Wei recalled their chance encounter on the Sui River boat with Yang Qingxi and Yang Yun. At the time, Yang Yun had carelessly revealed their secret, that he and his sister were hiding in Yaoguan. It was clear the Sui sect must have been involved. Li Wei turned to the matter at hand. What happened to Qi Xiao? A Dao Seed Realm martial mystic cultivator, a ruler of the mortal realm, vanished without a trace. Only those with exceptional talent could reach the Dao Seed Realm. Hidden Two's claim of average talent was only relative to the other Hidden Ones. A Dao Seed Realm cultivator in their 40s, at the second heaven, would be 1 in 100,000, or even 1 in a million, among all martial mystic cultivators. In each 60-year cycle, only a handful of the 60 Hidden Ones would ever achieve immortal. Initially, everyone assumed Qi Xiao had gone to the underground immortal mansion. The Qi clan was the first to realize something was amiss. After extensive investigation, they discovered that before his disappearance, Qi Xiao had sent people to search for Yang Qingxi. But by then, Yang Qingxi and the Sui sect's forces had already left Chu Prefecture City, leaving the investigation at a standstill. The world was vast and filled with danger. Countless people vanished every day, and finding someone was incredibly difficult. Often, no trace of their bodies remained. At the time, Li Wei was feigning severe injuries and paralysis. He didn't learn about Qi Xiao's disappearance until 3 months later. Naturally, he felt guilty, fearing Qi Xiao's fate might have been linked to Yang Qingxi. Shi Zhoujai said, over the past 3 months, I've investigated 2 leads, the underground immortal mansion and Yang Qingxi. First, I checked the city gate entry and exit records. There's no record of Qi Xiao leaving the city during the days he went missing. That leaves only 2 possibilities. 1. He encountered a top-tier expert who subdued or killed him silently, then destroyed the evidence. 2. He used some method to evade the city gate guards. Therefore, we can largely rule out the possibility of him going to the underground immortal mansion. If it was the first scenario, according to information gathered by the Hidden Sect and investigations by the Qi clan and Zhuaoqiu sect, there were only 3 Sui sect masters in Chu Prefecture City at the time with the power to do that, including Yao Qian. The Qi clan has already investigated this lead, and it's unlikely to yield any results. I focused on the second scenario. Under what circumstances would Qi Xiao deliberately try to avoid registering with the city gate guards? Li Wei pondered, unless he was trying to avoid someone other than the guards. Shi Zhoujai nodded. He was tailing someone. Who? Li Wei asked. Shi Zhoujai replied, he wouldn't dare tail someone too powerful. And there's no point in tailing someone too weak. Yang Qingxi. Li Wei guessed. Shi Zhoujai said, that's very likely. I followed this line of reasoning and continued my investigation, and I actually uncovered something. First, I checked Yang Qingxi's entry and exit records at the city gates during that period, but found nothing. So, I changed my approach and copied down all the records of carriages and horses leaving the Qi Manor on the day Qi Xiao disappeared. It took a lot of time to sift through and eliminate irrelevant entries. Eventually, the Azure Cloud Carriage Company, which had ties to the Sui sect, became my primary focus. The owner of Azure Cloud Carriage Company was originally from the Sui sect, a secret known only to the Zhu clan. The Sui sect understood the Zhu clan very well, and the Zhu clan understood them just as well. Azure Cloud Carriage Company kept detailed records of every driver and every exotic beast carriage or horse-drawn carriage, including their departure and return times. I secretly stole their ledger of carriage movements and made a copy. That's when I found the trail. Wang Ji had joined Azure Cloud Carriage Company 2 months before the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival, using a letter of introduction from Yang Qingxi. On the day Qi Xiao disappeared, Wang Ji disappeared as well. The city gate guards recorded him driving a carriage out of the city that night, and he never returned. Where is Yang Qingxi? Li Wei's eyes were cold and terrifying. Having reached this point, it was almost certain that she was involved. Although Li Wei had planted the Six Desires talisman on her, he wasn't currently a spiritual master or in the Dao Seed realm. Therefore, he couldn't use the talisman to sense her location. Moreover, half a year had passed. Yang Qingxi hadn't contacted him, indicating she had already found another way to neutralize the threat of the Six Desires talisman. Their swift agreement back then clearly meant they had prepared escape routes. Hidden 2 said, we've investigated, but found nothing. Even our people planted within the Sui sect haven't been able to trace her. She's likely in closed-door cultivation, attempting to break through to the Dao Seed realm. Shi Zhoujai added, the Wang Ji lead hasn't been broken. Oh. Li Wei was surprised. Shi Zhoujai smiled faintly. Yang Qingxi wouldn't have planted a chess piece like Wang Ji just for the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival. His disappearance was likely just a temporary measure to avoid suspicion, fearing Qi Xiao might have already sent word back to the Qi Manor after tracking them. After half a year, he probably thinks he's safe. The Qi clan hasn't discovered the Azure Cloud Carriage Company, and my investigation was extremely cautious, careful not to alert anyone. 10 days ago, the person I planted in the Azure Cloud Carriage Company reported back. Wang Ji had returned, and in a shocking twist, he had become the adopted son of Wang Shoxin, the company's owner. Li Wei had regained his composure. He picked up his wine cup and downed his 6th glass. Why would someone who had already left suddenly return? As the divine hidden one preparing to strike. Shi Zhoujai could sense Li Wei's concern for Qi Xiao and the cold fury he held for their enemies. Li Wei said, let's capture him first, before things get complicated. Ninth brother, will you come with me? Shi Zhoujai hesitated, then nodded. Second brother, the hidden sect should have some extreme spirit light due, right? Send me 100 drops. Li Wei stood up, unwilling to wait another moment. PFF'd. Hidden 2 choked on his wine, sputtering in shock. 100 drops. Extreme spirit light dew is a treasure born in the polar day land, like spiritual liquid itself. A single drop can be used to refine 100 radiant flame pills. Even the Zhu Li Divine Temple has to buy extreme spirit light dew from Thousand Mile Mountain. A single drop costs between 30 and 40,000 Xuanhuan coins. I can only get you 10 drops at most. It's the usual arrangement, you pay half, and the hidden sect covers the other half. Li Wei frowned, surprised by the extreme spirit light dew's rarity. Indeed, every shortcut in this world was paved with money. Fortunately, Yang Qingxi owed him 5 million Xuanhuan coins, he had to collect that debt. To quickly become a spiritual master, he had no choice but to make a significant investment. Li Wei said, make it 30 drops. No less. I'll gather 500,000 Xuanhuan coins for you as soon as possible. If that fails, go to the clan head of the Kandli tribe and say it's for his daughter's cultivation expenses. Also, check the hidden sect's treasury for fragments of the spirit platform Blazing Star Stone. If there are none, buy some publicly in my name. The price is negotiable. Hidden 2's eyes dimmed. Is it true that Divine Hidden 1 can only become spiritual master? Even a spiritual master who reaches the level of the Zhuoqiu family's Confucian Dao founding ancestor can still command the wind and rain and laugh at the world, Li Wei replied calmly. Li Wei and Shi Zhoujai drove towards the Azure Cloud Carriage Company. Shi Zhoujai observed Li Wei's eyes and expression, smiling, seeing your fighting spirit rekindled makes me feel much better. If I had been one level higher in cultivation back then, I might have been able to take that sword strike for you. Even when facing an immortal realm great power, Shi Zhoujai and Shi Luyu had acted without hesitation to rescue Li Wei. Regardless of their character or whether they succeeded, Li Wei deeply appreciated their willingness to face such extreme danger. That's why Li Wei believed Shi Zhoujai when he said he wished he could have taken that sword strike for him. Ninth brother, what realm are you in? Li Wei suddenly asked. Shi Zhoujai replied, sixth heaven of the Dao Seed realm. Li Wei was secretly shocked. No wonder Yin Shi had said that among their generation, Yin Zhu had the strongest foundation, but Hidden One and Yin Wu had the fastest cultivation speeds. A Dao Seed realm 6th heaven in his 30s, his cultivation speed might even surpass that of Zuoqiu Kangwu at the same age. This was a seed of an immortal realm great power. Great powers of the immortal realm are exceedingly rare in the world. Even Coffin Mountain, one of the top 3 major powers in the Southern Territory, only has 2 immortal realm great powers. While there might be some hidden figures of lesser renown, it's difficult to keep them secret. At most, they might have 1 or 2 more. A major sect like the Sui sect has only 3 immortal realm great powers and Holy Spirit masters combined. Most of the top experts from the sect's 7 major families are only at the Dao Seed realm. Only the hidden sects of ancient myriad sects level major powers, with their complete talent selection systems, vast resource reserves, and millennia-long foundations, can secretly cultivate large numbers of experts. Even then, among the Zhu Li clan, one of the ancient myriad clans, not all clan chiefs of the 9 great tribes or the 9 priests of the Zhu Li clan divine hall or immortal realm great powers or holy spiritual masters. Many remain stuck at the Dao Seed realm or spiritual master level. The 20 immortality pills lost during the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival are bound to reshape the world's power dynamics, secretly elevating many old cultivators trapped in the Dao Seed realm to the immortal realm. Shi Zhoujai said, each triple heaven in the Dao Seed realm marks a major transformation. The 4th heaven involves condensing a Dao lotus, and the 7th heaven involves condensing a Dao fruit. If I were to condense a Dao fruit, my strength would undergo a complete metamorphosis. But this step is incredibly difficult. It's possible that even after cultivating for another decade or 2, I still wouldn't succeed. I truly envy your generation for having the opportunity to compete for dragon seeds. Shi Zhoujai trailed off, realizing he had touched a sore spot for Li Wei. He chuckled awkwardly. I'm dying to know, did you and Yang Qingxi sleep together? What's it to you? Li Wei asked with a smile. Shi Zhoujai replied, Yang Qingxi is a woman who can ignite any man's desire for conquest. If you've already had her, I'll naturally abandon my own conquest. In the future, I'll either kill her outright or spare her life. Li Wei hesitated, unsure how to answer. Haha, I get it. Shi Zhoujai laughed. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel, The Primordial Law. Volume 3, Xuansheng Dao Sect Twin Rice Sect. Chapter 14 269 The Secrets of the Xuansheng Dao Sect Twin Rice Sect. 14th of Volume 4. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. The Qingyan Carriage Company was located in the outer city of West City. Under the night sky, the vast, garden-like carriage yard held hundreds of carriages of all sizes, arranged in rows like centipede formations. In the lamplight, one could hear the sounds of horses, exotic beasts, and the bustling activity of coachmen, craftsmen, and horsemen. Unlike the inner city, which was constantly protected by the city-protecting formation, the outer city was vast, chaotic, and saw frequent movement of people. This was one reason Wang Ji had dared to return. At this moment, Wang Ji and Wang Shaoxin, the owner of the Qingyan Carriage Company, sat in a room on the 2nd floor of the West Shed. They didn't resemble a foster son and foster father, instead, they sat as equals. Wang Ji, who appeared to be 15 or 16 years old, was the young man who had driven Yang Qingxi's carriage that day. Dressed in a spiritual artifact Nightwalker's garment, Wang Ji's eyes held a deep, unsettling gaze. That Li Wei is too cunning. Even though we received a report that he had descended Taoli Peach and Plum Mountain, he vanished almost immediately, leaving no trace. Wang Shaoxin replied, even though he's been crippled, he's still a divine hidden one of the Zhu Li hidden sect. Who knows what forces he might still command. We must not act rashly until the 4th divine son arrives. Wang Ji smiled faintly. He's the person Venerable Nan specifically requested. Capturing him would be a great achievement. What's really going on beneath Fu Prefecture? Wang Shaoxin asked. Only those above the elders know the full truth. I overheard Venerable Nan and Elder Chu discussing it once. They said, a great event is about to unfold. Wang Ji's eyes flashed coldly. The biggest problem now is that the imperial court and the various righteous armies have temporarily united against the demon clan, putting an end to their internal conflicts. Wang Shaoxin's heart sank. He sensed something was amiss. All sounds outside the door vanished in an instant, leaving an eerie silence. May I ask who has graced us with their presence? Wang Shaoxin's eyelids snapped open, his pupils radiating icy light. Spiritual chi surged through his body like a raging river as he slammed his palm against the closed door. With his cultivation, he could shatter not just a wooden door but even a steel city gate with a single strike. But something strange happened. His overwhelmingly powerful palm strike was deflected by an invisible force. Ripples spread through the air around the door. Whoosh! Shi Zhoujai's massive frame materialized out of thin air, standing in the room before the door. He smiled. Continue. This Dharma King would love to hear more. Tonight's unexpected harvest has been truly remarkable. Shi Zhoujai. Wang Shoxin was utterly terrified, recognizing the fearsome barbarian bandit whose name echoed throughout the southern territory. As he uttered those 3 words, he exhaled a mouthful of spiritual qi. Within the spiritual qi, a 2-foot-long flying sword, a 100-character scripture artifact, was enveloped. Under the impetus of the spiritual qi, the flying sword burst forth with blinding brilliance. Dense scriptures materialized on its surface. Boom! The flying sword froze a foot from Shi Zhoujai's chest. Ripples emanated from its tip, preventing it from advancing a single inch further. Bang! Wang Ji crashed through the wall, leaping onto the street west of the Qingyan Carriage Company. Shi Zhoujai glanced at the hole in the wall. Spreading his right hand, he pressed lightly toward the ground. Instantly, the entire Qingyan Carriage Company and the surrounding blocks were enveloped in a dense, white mist. This was his Dao Heart manifestation, a technique that could extend up to 3 miles, transforming the area into his personal domain. Of course, his control weakened with distance. Bang! Wang Ji had barely landed when he looked up, only to find the world around him completely obscured by the endless white mist. How formidable Shi Zhoujai is! His ancestral field trembled, and concentric ripples of spatial energy emerged from his navel. At the center of the spatial ripples, a first-grade 100-character artifact, a golden whip, shot out. Like a golden dragon, it coiled around Wang Ji's body, stretching several dozen feet long. Over 100 profound scriptures enveloped his entire form. Da. Footsteps echoed as Li Wei emerged from the mist. Truly, one cannot judge a person by their appearance. Who would have guessed that a young man hiding among the Qingyan Carriage Company workers was actually a Dao Seed Realm cultivator? Wang Ji looked only 15 or 16 years old, but the appearance of martial mystic cultivators was often highly deceptive. Wang Ji gripped the golden whip, his eyes widening in disbelief. It's you. Weren't you crippled? Li Wei replied calmly, only my ancestral field was crippled. With my 6th sea cultivation, I believe I can handle you without issue. I've made great progress in the past 6 months. Wang Ji sneered, you're probably still underestimating the combat prowess of a Dao Seed Realm martial mystic cultivator. You've cultivated an ancestral field, so you're naturally no weakling. You're not comparable to those inferior root Dao Seed cultivators. Where's Qingxi? I miss her, Li Wei said. Wang Ji frowned deeply. Even he couldn't grasp the true nature of Li Wei and Yang Qingxi's relationship. Li Wei continued, let me ask another question, where's Qi Xiao? Whoosh! Wang Ji's expression changed. Spiritual qi surged through his arm like a coiling dragon, and his golden whip transformed into a golden bolt of lightning, shooting forward with incredible speed. A piercing tearing sound echoed through the air. Li Wei calmly countered the intent force emanating from his opponent. He raised a hand, and countless hand seals materialized before him. Behind him, a 5-jong tall battle technique intent projection rose into the air. One of the 12 dispersed hands, the spiritual treasure seizing hand. The golden whip's power was formidable, tearing through a mist-covered area hundreds of meters long, leaving a half-meter-deep groove in the ground. One strike could carve a riverbed across flat land. Yet this incredibly powerful 100-character artifact was firmly grasped in Li Wei's hand. Ignoring the shock etched on Wang Ji's face, he channeled spiritual qi through all 120 of his golden meridians. With a flick of his wrist, a domineering pulling force erupted. How is this possible? Wang Ji couldn't believe that a 5 Seas realm martial mystic cultivator could surpass him in strength. Suppressing his shock, he abandoned his direct confrontation with Li Wei and charged forward instead. Spiritual qi energy spilled from his body as he spun his fingers in the air to form a palm strike. Within a 10-jong radius, the mist twisted and distorted, and a miniature sun appeared in his palm, radiating intense light and heat. He struck out with his palm. The force of his palm strike felt like a mountain crashing down. Li Wei took a deep breath, and 10 battle intents simultaneously manifested behind him. With a flying kick, the Jade Cauldron's shadow appeared, colliding head-on with Wang Ji's palm print. PFF'd. Wang Ji vomited blood, his body spinning backward through the air. How monstrous. How could he have 10 battle intents? The moment he landed, Wang Ji sprang to his feet, ignoring the golden whip Li Wei had seized. He turned and fled. Moments later, Wang Ji stood stiffly, retreating step by step. Before him stood 6 phoenix-winged moth emperors. The 7th phoenix-winged moth emperor perched on his left shoulder, their membrane wings, sharper than a spiritual artifact battle sword, pressed against his neck. The wings sliced through his skin, and blood flowed freely. A first-grade 100-character artifact, worth tens of thousands of Xuanhuan coins. Li Wei stashed the golden whip into his boundary pouch, the speed at which he was making money putting him in a good mood. However, the most valuable items for Dao Seed Realm martial mystic cultivators were spiritual artifact battle weapons. Li Wei turned to Wang Ji, who was pinned down by the phoenix-winged moth emperors, who is Venerable Nan. What grand scheme are you all plotting? Wang Ji clenched his teeth, his eyes burning with fanaticism. He burst into laughter at Li Wei, but remained silent. They must be from the Twin Rice sect. Rumor has it the sect has 5 venerables, each responsible for affairs in the 4 realms, southeast, northwest, and Lingxiao City. They also have 28 elders overseeing the 28 prefectures of the world. In the demonic path, the Twin Rice sect is the undisputed leader, Shi Zhoujai said, emerging from the mist with the unconscious Wang Shaoxin in his grasp. As the Dharma king of the Earth Wolf King's army, Shi Zhoujai was also half a member of the demonic path, and thus possessed deep knowledge of its ways. Wang Ji, realizing his identity had been exposed, roared, Shi Zhoujai. Since you know we're from the Twin Rice sect, you should show us reverence. The Earth Wolf King's army can't afford to offend us. Shi Zhoujai ignored him, telepathically communicating with Li Wei. Before we acted, I wanted to warn you, these hidden pawns are likely implanted with death spirit fire. Now we're in serious trouble. The Twin Rice sect's followers are far more fanatical than the Sui sect's secret agents. They fear neither death nor torture. Getting any information out of them will be like trying to catch a star. The moment they see even a glimmer of hopelessness, they'll willingly release the death spirit fire within them. You mean we've alerted the enemy? Li Wei asked. Shi Zhoujai replied, since we've already done this, let's seize the opportunity to set a trap and lure out the big fish. I'll be the bait. Li Wei was worried about Shi Zhoujai getting into another dangerous situation. But he himself had more than one guardian backing him. As this thought crossed his mind, a figure appeared in his mind's eye, smiling. Even if they've been implanted with death spirit fire, it doesn't mean we can't get answers from them. Swish. Li Wei's figure flickered, and with a single palm strike, he knocked Wang Ji unconscious. Wang Ji and Wang Shaoxin lay unconscious by the lake in Diligent Garden. Zhenhai Guanwu, clad in a crimson robe and veiled, revealed her true form. Her figure was as beautiful as a painting, her aura noble and mysterious. 10 snow-white, jade-like fingers hovered above their heads, emitting countless strands of spiritual light that burrowed into their skulls. Li Wei had witnessed Zhenhai Guanwu's soul retrieval technique before. Even with the death spirit fire planted within them, she could still extract fragments of their memories. Now, with her cultivation far surpassing her previous level, her soul retrieval would be even more assured. Shi Zhoujai stared at Zhenhai Guanwu in the distance, lost in thought. He had always believed he could remain calm and composed even when facing Heavenly King Shi Naru. Yet, the moment this woman appeared, his heart had raced, his soul had felt detached from his body, and his mind had been utterly unsettled. It wasn't because of her overwhelming cultivation aura. It was like an innate fear. He sent a mental message, who is this great practitioner? Her. It's best to keep everything about her buried deep within you. Don't mention her to anyone, or you'll become entangled in immense karmic consequences, Li Wei replied. Shi Zhoujai didn't take Li Wei's words lightly. He nodded solemnly. Hiss. Crack. Once soul retrieval began, the death spirit fire within both bodies was passively activated. It had already ignited. Within a few breaths, the two figures were reduced to charred husks. The spiritual light threads dissipated, and Zhenhai Guanwu stood silently by the lake, her gaze lost in thought. Her wise, unfathomably deep eyes were fixed in contemplation. Li Wei approached her and asked, Miss Zhen Mist, what's wrong? Shi Zhoujai hesitated, not daring to approach. He was deeply wary of Zhenhai Guanwu. Zhenhai Guanwu turned to Li Wei, her red lips parting slightly beneath her veil. I didn't retrieve all the memories. But what I've learned so far is already astonishing. In just 1,000 years, the Rendao of the Lingxiao realm have grown to this extent. I must journey to the depths of Fu Prefecture. The origins and legends of the Rendao were detailed in Chapter 56, The Benevolent Rice. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 3, Xuansheng Dao Sect Twin Rice Sect. Chapter 15 270 The Fourth Divine Sun. 15th of Volume 4. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. The purpose of planting Death Spirit Fire was to prevent psychic powerhouses from using soul-searching techniques to uncover secrets. Young hidden ones from the Julie Hidden sect were also required to have Death Spirit Fire planted in them before undertaking missions. Given the Twin Rice sect's power and mystery, the Death Spirit Fire planted in Dao Seed Realm members was undoubtedly extraordinary, designed to prevent core secrets from leaking. Even a holy spiritual master attempting to use soul-searching techniques would likely fail. Yet the red-robed woman before him had managed to detect something despite the death spirit fire burning within her. Shi Zhoujai leaned against the wall, watching the man and woman in the distance, his earlier contempt for Li Wei completely vanished. This divine hidden one, though his martial mystic Dao had been crippled, still possessed terrifying invisibility powers. Perhaps in the near future, he would once again stun the world as a psychic powerhouse and legendary insect tamer. The question remained, could he catch up to the 10 people who had gone to the Calamity Crossing Temple for cultivation? This would undoubtedly be a difficult path to follow. By the lake. Zhenhai Guanwu's skin glowed white in the night, her hair shimmered with an unnatural luster, and a rosy haze enveloped her, creating an aura of mystery and enchantment. In a melodious voice, she began, the Ren Dao are born from the benevolent rice. The history of the benevolent rice is incredibly ancient, appearing in the earliest records of various life realms approximately 600,000 years ago. Legend says it originated deep within the nether realm of the dead, serving as sustenance for the highest beings in the world of the dead. Over time, it gradually spread into the life realms and became widely cultivated. Therefore, the benevolent rice likely existed long before 600,000 years ago, but the passage of time has blurred the ancient past, and the texts have crumbled to dust. The Lingxiao realm, bordering the Blood Sea, is crisscrossed by blood rivers flowing beneath the surface, making it the ideal fertile land for cultivating the Ren Dao. For this reason, the Ren Dao have always coveted this vast and fertile territory, aiming to transform the entire life realm into rice paddies for nurturing their offspring. It is precisely because of this that the Ren Dao realm has forbidden the cultivation of benevolent rice for thousands of years, not only due to humanitarian and ethical concerns but also out of fear of the Ren Dao's terrifying reproductive capacity and their enduring ambition to seize this land, which has never faded since ancient times. But even 1,000 years ago, countless factions in the Ren Dao realm secretly cultivated benevolent rice, it was impossible to eradicate. However, with the imperial court's strict control, the Ren Dao could never grow too powerful or appear openly. The lid of the Pandora's box of disaster remained firmly sealed. At this point, Zhenhai Guanwu sighed softly, her gaze drifting northward. That was the direction of Lingxiao City. Li Wei had heard from Zhao Zhijuo, and confirmed through his own research, that major powers across the land had long begun cultivating benevolent rice on a large scale. First, they used it to select exceptionally talented cultivators for training as death squads, soldiers, or retainers. Second, it served to replenish the population. After all, wars among martial mystic Dao powerhouses resulted in high mortality rates, and fields needed tending while mines needed workers. Third, those without cultivation talent were sold as resources and commodities, forced into slavery, servitude, or used as playthings for martial mystic Dao powerhouses. The trade in Ren Dao rarely led to disputes. Some brutal rebel armies even fed Ren Dao to their strange beast mounts. When one group of people treats another as food or objectifies them, the issues of morality and humanity are magnified infinitely. Contradictions and hatred, distortions and extremes, fester in the shadows, unnoticed by most. Zhenhai Guanwu said, your friend was indeed tracking Wang Ji and Yang Qingxi when they left Chu Prefecture City. According to Wang Ji's memory, they should have reached a place called Qingyi Green Robe Town, located about 200 miles north of Chu Prefecture City. Green Robe Town. Li Wei memorized the location. Should I go there? Shi Zhoujai asked. Li Wei shook his head, it's too dangerous. I have a better candidate. Then I'll spend the next few days contacting people from the demonic path to gather more information about the Twin Rice sect. Shi Zhoujai sniffed the air intently, then leapt onto the courtyard wall, gazing out at the night sky with a nervous expression. That white rose fragrance is coming from Shi Qiqing's body. This entire neighborhood will be in full bloom tonight. She must have done something to me and found her way here. Li Wei chuckled. Ninth brother seems a little afraid of her. This is the woman who made even Shi Luyu flee at the scent of her. I'll distract her. Though the Zhu Li clan and the Earthwolf King's army are currently allies, if she discovers we're meeting privately, she's bound to become suspicious, Shi Zhoujai said. Go ahead. I'll handle these two corpses. Tell Hidden Tu to inform Hidden Lord about the Twin Rice sect, Li Wei replied. After Shi Zhoujai left, Li Wei took a deep sniff. Indeed, a sweet fragrance lingered in the air. The scent conjured a flood of erotic images in his mind. His heart raced, and the respect and caution he usually held for Zhenhai Guanwu diminished, replaced by an urge to pull her into his arms. On a distant artificial mountain, Li Ling, who had been keeping watch, was also breathing heavily, her cheeks flushed with a rosy glow. What a potent white rose fragrance. Li Wei immediately activated the jade void breathing technique. His mind cleared instantly, suppressing the distracting thoughts. The next morning, as dawn broke, the sky was still dim. The Azure Cloud Carriage Company was filled with black-robed figures, all silent, their atmosphere grim and murderous. Wang Shu, the fourth divine son of the Twin Rice sect, stood beside two charred corpses, wearing a golden mask that covered the upper half of his face. His calm gaze was fixed on the shattered small building nearby. Whoosh! His figure flickered. As if teleporting, he appeared inside the building, his double pupils turning blood red. Suddenly, the entire world became crystal clear, down to individual grains of dust on the floor. The footprints Shi Zhoujai had left the previous night, the way Wang Ji had smashed through the wall, every detail was reconstructed in his mind. In the next moment, the fourth divine sun materialized on the street where Wang Ji and Li Wei had fought. The deep grooves in the ground were still visible, and all the traces connected in his consciousness to form a complete picture. Returning to the Azure Cloud Carriage Company, he examined the two corpses again, his mind already made up. A black-robed elder, using the golden evasion Dao technique, flashed into existence beside the fourth divine sun. His skin, which had been metallic, rapidly reverted to flesh and blood. His head and face completely concealed by the hood, he rasped, "Have you found out who did it? The Azure Cloud Carriage Company is a crucial intelligence hub for us." The fourth divine sun's voice was cold. "You were in charge of the events in Chu Prefecture City. I just arrived." The black-robed elder knelt to examine the scene. No need to investigate further. It was the divine hidden one from the Zhuli hidden sect who led the attack. Sui sect and Yang Qingxi must have left an opening, allowing them to discover this place, the fourth divine sun said. The black-robed elder remarked, "So the divine hidden one is preparing to make a comeback, having finally emerged from the shadows of his decline. Anyone with 7 Lord Marquis grade strange insects would regain their confidence. This is likely his last resort. It's laughable, really. The Twin Rice sect wanted to capture him, but he killed 2 Dao Seed Realm experts first. You'll have to explain this to the Southern Venerable yourself." The fourth divine sun said. The black-robed elder replied, "The death spirit fire within their bodies has already been triggered. This indicates the Zhuli hidden sect didn't extract any information. The losses are manageable." "Manageable. My brother died here. You call this manageable?" The fourth divine sun removed his mask, revealing a youthful face identical to Wang Ji's. "I will settle this debt with Yang Qingxi. We must capture Li Wei as soon as possible. Stop saying Taoli Peach and Plum Mountain is a forbidden zone, he can't stay there forever. If the Zhuli hidden sect dares to oppose the Twin Rice sect, they must pay a price. We'll kill a few of their hidden ones." The black-robed elder wasn't afraid of the fourth divine sun. The divine sun's advantage lay in his exceptional talent and high status, not his cultivation level, which was inferior to the elders. Heavenly prides who reached the inheritor level within a 60-year cycle could be designated divine sons or goddesses. The higher their cultivation, the higher their ranking. The fourth divine sun's animosity toward Yang Qingxi stemmed from the latter's astonishing cultivation speed over the past 6 months. As the 6th goddess of the Dragon Seed Dao, Yang Qingxi had already reached the 2nd heaven of the Dao Seed Realm, steadily threatening the positions of other divine sons and goddesses. Having suffered heavy losses the previous night, the black-robed elder was at a disadvantage and had to tread carefully. "This is difficult," he said. "The Zhuli hidden sect is unlike other hidden sects. They seem to have an extremely small membership and a mysterious selection process. We only know their name, never their faces. The divine sect has tried many methods, but we've never been able to infiltrate them. If it's too difficult, then don't bother," the fourth divine sun said. "Besides, the sect is currently short on Dao Seed Realm cultivators like Wang Ji." He examined Wang Ji's corpse again. The flesh was severely burned, but the bones, Qi Si, Wind Mansion, and Ancestral Field remained intact. The innate world hadn't yet collapsed. He retrieved a porcelain bottle and poured out a golden liquid. The golden liquid transformed into a rain of light, falling onto Wang Ji's charred corpse. To his surprise, the shriveled body began to swell. This golden liquid was refined from the life spring liquid within the benevolent rice that had nurtured both him and Wang Ji. In critical moments, it could save their lives. Of course, Wang Ji was already dead. There was no reviving him. "One body, 2 souls, 10,000 rice plants from the same root," the fourth divine sun murmured. He pressed one hand onto Wang Ji's ancestral field, infusing it with spiritual qi. The spiritual qi flowed through the meridian veins, circulating throughout the body. Simultaneously, he ordered someone to cut open his wrist, allowing his blood to drip continuously onto the corpse. As a large amount of blood flowed into the body, Wang Ji's charred corpse, bathed in golden light, began to regenerate flesh and skin. Crack! The charred outer shell peeled away, revealing an intact corpse beneath. The fourth divine sun's blood had been severely depleted, with about a third lost. He immediately swallowed a blood pill to replenish it. Next, he retrieved a soul jar sealed with runes from his cosmic pouch and began a ritual only Twinborn could perform. The black-robed elder realized the fourth divine sun intended to refine Wang Ji's corpse into a dead soul servant and puppet substitute to enhance his combat prowess. This was a privilege reserved for divine sons and goddesses, as well as elders and higher-ranking figures. The soul jar contained a powerful dead spirit suppressed by the Heavenly Principles Hall, the leading hall of the Twin Rice sect's 4 halls, in the nether realm of the dead. These powerful dead spirits had been refined into soul seeds. Now, the fourth divine sun was planting a soul seed along with a strand of his willful soul into Wang Ji's ancestral field. Using Wang Ji's corpse as a medium, he would control the powerful dead spirit. Whoosh. Crimson light surged back and forth between the fourth divine son and Wang Ji's corpse. As the ritual concluded, Wang Ji, lying on the ground, emitted a low, guttural howl. To the black-robed elder's astonishment, he rose to his feet with an eerie grace, unleashing an aura that even the elder found intimidating. Wang Ji attempted to attack the fourth divine son, but the latter's mere thought pressed him to his knees. I'll leave this matter to you. That brat Long Ting has summoned me for a meeting, and I must attend. The fourth divine son, carrying Wang Ji, sank into the earth and vanished using a Dao technique level earth escape. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel.